This is an overview of the unit in the drive for 8th grade over the book The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. Okay, so we're going to start with the pacing guide, and it's found here in the drive, and I have it open. So it looks like this. Okay, so first of all, the possible textbook connection in the HMH textbook is 8th grade Unit 3, Places We Call Home. And the essential question for that unit is, what are the places that shape who you are? And you'll see throughout the unit that I've also added what are the places and people that shape who you are. So I'm already logged in to my HMH, so I'm going to go up here just to show you. This is the 8th grade into literature, Texas 8th grade. Here's Unit 3. If you click on it, then it's Places We Call Home. And if you view resources here, this is where some of the resources are. So now I do, in this unit, it does say Places We Call Home Unit Opener. And so if you click here, and I'll show you where this is in the pacing guide, you'll see that there's Places We Call Home. There's a quote. There's a video that you're going to have the kids watch, and then there's the essential question again. So let's go back to our pacing guide, but you know how to get into your HMH, but this is where you'll find some of the resources that are referred to. So back to the pacing guide. Okay, so the essential question again, what are the places that shape who you are? There's this video is the one you're watching now. And the major way that you can go through this unit is to give the kids a reading response journal. So there's a couple places where you can click on here to access the reading response journal that's in the drive. Now, here, the reading response journal, I already have it open as well. It's this one. So the reading response journal, if you choose to use this, the whole thing, there are ways that have suggestions for printing this out. I would print this out and its entirety, and then I would, here it says here, print it out in its entirety, and when making copies, place 2 pieces of a blank paper at the beginning and run one-sided to two-sided with 2 staples to make a booklet for the kids. Now, by putting the blank sheet at the front, you've given yourself a couple of options. There's one option on the first day for the kids to do something with that first page, or when they turn in the journal at the end of the unit, you can have them do a one-pager on the front of that unit, or to do a new book cover, anything like that. So you'll see the first page of this journal also has poetry connections that are found in this unit. There's 3 poems that are connected to this book. There's 3 nonfiction stories connected to this book. And then there's 3 things from the textbook that are connected to this book. Okay, so when you go through, the first part is an introduction to The House on Mango Street by the author. And the reason why this is here is because there's a new introduction in the updated, or the second or third publishings or whatever of this book. But I think that the first introduction is the best to go with the essential question. So there's, I'll show you, there's an activity to do this with the kids. And then you'll start your interactive journal. These go with the introduction. There's a thematic chart, and this is important for the final project. And then here's where you begin the vignettes. Now you'll have to explain to the students what a vignette is and how this book is written. It's a compilation of short vignettes or short stories that describe the things on Mango Street. So for the first one, you're going to have the students read the vignette and annotate the text. So whatever you want the students to look for is what you put here. They can be looking for signposts, figurative language, theme connection, quotes you notice, new words, and then this is their interpretation of those things. So once they've done their annotation, Then here are some reading response questions over those same vignettes, okay? So this first one is done for them, so you can set your expectations of how you want this to be done. Now, the next page on some of these, it'll have a bell ringer response. So there is a slides presentation for bell ringers, and the bell ringers usually have a time for them to discuss with their partner the things that they found in their previous reading, and then it gives them a quote to think about and to discuss, and then they'll have time to write. This is what we discussed, and this is my response to the quote. Okay, and then there's the next vignettes. There's their reading response. There's another discussion summary, and on and on and on. Now, what I wanted you to notice is here. There's one here. So these two vignettes are linked to this passage, Little Things Are Big. Okay, and this is an informational text. And so what you want to do is read the passages and then have the students do the informational text analysis over this nonfiction. Now, this nonfiction is linked and in the drive. Okay? And then there's reading and listening responses, because with this Little Things Are Big, there's also a YouTube video for them to watch. So these are questions about those things. Then there's their bell ringers, on, keeps going. And I wanted to show you another time where another text is brought in. Okay, here's where Fish Cheeks is brought in to go with the vignette here. So that's also in the drive. Here, I think we're getting close. Here we go. This one, the poem is already in the reading response journal for you. So this is a vignette, Papa Who Wakes Up Tired in the Dark, and the students are going to read Abuelito Who by Sandra, also by the same author, and they're going to discuss this. Okay? There's also a video in the drive if you have time to do those things. So it keeps going until the end of the book. So they'll have, this is their reading response journal to all of the things that they'll be expected to do. Okay, so let's go back to the pacing guide. Now we've looked at the reading response journal. So day 1 says the HMH intro video in the essential question, which I showed you where that was. Here's a link to it right here, but you should be, you'll have to be logged in into your HMH teacher account. Now, after watching the video, display the essential question from the first slide of the bell ringer. So here, if you click on this, it's going to take you to the daily discussion bell ringers. And this is the daily discussion bell ringers. It's a Google Slides presentation. So here it is. Okay. And so the first slide says, what are the places and people that shape who you are? That's the essential question. Okay. Discuss your thoughts with a partner. Create an artistic representation of the places that shape who you are as the cover of your unit journal. Now that's after you've already made copies for them. Now that's one option, or you can do, if you don't want to do that, you can have them just do it on some poster paper and display them around the room under the essential question as you have the unit. So these are their instructions, and then here's an example. It says, see the example on this following slide. Well, here's an example of one that's done quickly. Whoops. And it would be something similar to that. As much time as you want to spend on it for them to be artistic and creative. The other thing is they can take it home to finish it if it's part of their journal. Now, as you go through, you'll see here in the notes it says day 1. This is done on day 1. Now you'll see here day 2. This is day 2, the bell ringer. Discuss the essential question. What are the places that people who shape who you are? This is where they're going to present that page and explain their choices to their partner, and then you can have a class share out. The next one down here, it says day 3. These just go with that pacing guide, and they'll find